So what do you guys think about aliens and pyramids?
That's a really good question.
Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's also going to be fun.
Yeah, for real. That was dope as fuck.
We flip-floppy. We, we're on a boat.
I mean, who built the pyramids, though? That's a real good question.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, fam. Welcome back to yet another amazing episode of I'm Telling You.
I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. Bing Crosby's in the house because we were drinking in the green room. That will happen. But I am Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
Clickety clack and fact check, Miss JD.
Yeah, for the first time, if you're checking in with us, never done this before, you are strapping in for an hour of something or other of amazing. Oh, you buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's also going to be fun. Yeah, this is a 30-plus year friendship of talking anything and everything with anybody and all buddies and anybody's and party pals and all that good stuff. And
with this jackass over here.
Yeah, but we also do like dad quotes, movie jokes, movie quotes. And dad joke. Yeah, we flip floppy. We we're on a boat. All that good stuff. But yeah, we also get guests in the house, which tonight is no different. We have the 308. Hey guys, if you want to please introduce yourself.
So we got the 308. I'm Royal Music.
I'm Mr. Hybrid. I'm niinobenz.
And we from Nebraska.
It was formed in Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not from, but formed in. Yeah, that's more correct. You gotta flip the O and the R on that one. That's
you're right. Okay, education.
Look,
not a strong suit sometimes.
Hey, we can't spell for shit either. That's why we got a fact checker because we don't know nothing. Also, so she keeps us in line. So we get you guys. It's cool.
Get a fact checked on if it's caramel or caramel.
It's pronounced caramel.
I don't know if you know, but I don't get paid to pronounce things.
I apologize.
I am not the person I have a Massachusetts accent, living in the South for the last decade, dyslexic. You do not want me pronouncing things.
No, you do not. You do because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, dude. All right, cool. Caramel and caramel, like caramel, caramel.
Is it caramel corn or caramel corn?
Well, but so here's my thing. If it's just like a candy, or if it's just like, it's caramel. But if it's like that gooey fun, like, oh my God, my teeth can't stay unstuck. That's caramel. Done.
See, that's what I said. He says just caramel.
I think it's like
I say caramel too, by the way.
It's that.
So if we
over in background, right? Because like in Portuguese it's caramalu, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So it's like the other A. So
in Morocco we say caramel too.
So.
Yo, see, this was
the on that one,
bro. The foreign roots,
Well, yeah.
Wait, you remember the commercial?
Because English is a conglomerate.
Caramello.
I'm saying, you got to be more specific. You can't just say a commercial. It's like there's so many commercials.
Caramello? What?
No, check it out, caramello.
No.
So it's caramel. Oh.
Because Carmelo would sound weird.
But see, this is the thing I love about because you were talking about the difference of you being from Morocco and you being from Portugal is you get that entire area up there where if you're Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, they all say that they speak Latin, but it's like a different kind. It's like drunk Latin. Oh no, dude, this is for real, dude. There's drunk Latin. There's like like artistic or romantic Latin. Then there's just like straight up like ignorant Latin, and every different country says the same shit about this. It's like, so it's this one or that one.
We don't speak English anyway.
No, we don't. We speak American.
We speak American.
That is true. Yeah, we speak. Yeah.
You don't call it an elevator. You call it a lift.
Dude, neither of those are correct.
Fuck that. It's called a lift.
It's an escalator that could also be stairs. I like that shit because it can never break. It just becomes stairs.
It's a dumb waiter.
You're a dumb waiter. But yeah, so we were talking earlier. We brought up the idea of like how we can talk anything and everything, and we said some stuff about like spirituality, pyramids, aliens, all that. And you guys are kind of like, oh,
like perked up a little bit. I saw that.
So I mean, like, what in all of that did that kind of like what's resonating with you on that shit?
Does anything happen in Nebraska?
Oh,
in Nebraska.
Actually, Nebraska be popping more than people think. Like it'll be some crazy shit happening around here.
There's a lot of
Just don't get in the
cornfields.
news. You just hear Florida, man. You never hear Nebraska.
I hear a lot of
man.
people say there's a UFO like sighting or something, and I'm like, where?
I would say in the sky. Usually, that's usually where they're at. What?
Yeah, look,
You mother.
Oh, you meant it's like right there, and that's my bad. I apologize. I read that too generally. I do that sometimes.
Just stop. Just tell him to stop. Sorry.
You can't stop this. It's not
Please
going to happen.
continue.
Yeah, no. But all right. So, but do you guys personally you have like experiences with any of this, or and do pyramids, all that shit, conspiracy theories? Like, we don't give a fuck, man. Let's get out there. Let's get strange.
Let's open that door.
Oh yeah, and the window.
I mean, who built the pyramids though? That's a really good question.
That's a really good question because that's really been coming into question lately.
Because like them big ass sand blocks, they didn't get up there just like that. Somebody did that, and they had to have machines or something.
Well, see, what I was told is that no one today can make the perfect pyramid block. Like,
Even if we could, why would we? That's the problem. Because it would take such a workforce, like 30 years working daily, like setting a stone like every.
Well,
5
no.
minutes
That's
or
on the
something.
old preconceived notion that it took slaves of thousands and 30 years of them doing it. But the problem is when you have that kind of an infrastructure, like, dude, thousands of people are going to poop and piss and sleep and eat and shower. And where is all the trash from that shit?
Bro, Thoth put that together in the 5th dimension and just dropped it there.
Yeah, do you guys know about
telling
Thoth? Have you guys
Just
ever heard about that
fucking
shit?
Dropped it there.
Actually, so I'm really big into like ancient, like I don't know, mythology. So like Greeks, Egyptians, and like
All of
I
it.
know in those like old texts they say like Thoth really wasn't a part of the gods, that he was like another being from.
Well, he didn't want to be
wherever that-
worshipped because it
Yeah,
was the
exactly.
power that he was working for that he wanted you to connect to. Like he was the only one that was coming real. Everybody was looking for power at that point. I mean, those supposed gods. If I mean, we could totally go down that rabbit hole because I love that one.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, in my opinion, like he was known as like the smartest being or God or whatever you want to call him.
But there was a suggestion that he was connected to Quetzalcoatl. I mean, and that he was connected to all these other.
Knowledge is power. So like he knew everything, and on that kind of spirituality.
Well, and what they call him, the was the god of wisdom or knowledge or something like that, and
Knowledge, yeah.
and of well, there was a whole bunch of different, because it was the ibis bird that I thought was really interesting. The ibis is a type of a crane that will travel into the area during a time of high water, basically, to feast off the waters. So it was the ibis bird that he took under his wing when he was in Egypt.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That was a funny joke. No, is I the only one that got that one? Jesus Lord. But I mean, but this, to me, this is the thing is, I love the fact that one, on a science level, the pyramids have been basically like, I guess the main one, the Giza, it's basically a power machine, and they've shown how from chamber to chamber to chamber, all of the different sections or tunnels or whatever you want to call them, as they link things back and forth, it really kind of lends its hand more
to the chakra points.
Well, but so that was my second point. Why you got to, bro?
Yeah,
Jesus,
no,
get out of my head.
I'm right with you, is what I'm saying.
But
bro.
then that's the thing is, on the science level, it's being seen as an energy source. But that's the cool thing is, it also represents the chakras, which when you have all of your chakras lined right, so all the tunnels and everything else link up, you yourself are an energy source.
generator. Yeah, absolutely.
So a question I got for y'all. So you've seen like everything that they've shown us. How much of it do you not think they have actually shown us of what's in there?
So we go deep, man. We got some cats that like really, I mean, one like Billy Carson. Billy Carson is a individual. He does forbidden knowledge is like his big thing. Like it's a whole company that he
hooked
did
on that stuff lately.
Yeah, he actually does. I think once a year he'll take a group out to the pyramids, and he gets like very unlimited access, where it's like he can pretty much go here and there, and he takes these groups and they do like meditation
has its
sessions,
limits, but
and that's why I said it's pretty much unlimited. unlimited because where they're willing to allow people to go, they let him and his group do. I mean, even if it's just like, hey, we only let people go into here like 2 or 3 times a year, he's one of those guys where he's getting very much like unrestricted access.
That Robert Edward Grant too.
Yeah, dude, he's been getting some dope shit too.
Egypt as well.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys. So we've been looking into, I guess, like more of the individuals that most would call like, air quotes fringe science, or even like that hoo-ah or whatever, all that hoo-hoo and bullshit. But they really kind of like they go for what the evidence says.
Well, like Graham Hancock doesn't even. I mean, and that's the one thing that cracks me up is like people give him shit and they try to.
They discredit his character, not his work.
But they try to discredit him by saying he's basically a false scientist, and he's like, I'm not a scientist, I'm a reporter.
Yeah, so I'm saying they attack his character, not his his evidence. But,
right.
So yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. So yeah, we to answer your question, we get like a really good deep dive on this stuff that I feel the information that we're dealing with is probably the most accurate and most available to most of society. It's just we've stumbled upon it, kind of a thing, because we're willing to. We don't look at all the other bullshit. Like if it's on the mainstream, just like music or whatever, dude, we don't fucks with that.
Just on the real, having a near death experience makes you look into this type of stuff.
A few.
Well, I wasn't gonna go there, but.
No, like legit, dude. He's had near death experiences, like he's had concussions, and
I don't recall anything from it. It's kind of I still say I'm surprised that I can still walk and chew gum at the same time, and it takes
you can't.
It takes a bit of attention.
A lot. But yeah, so I mean, what are your guys' take on all this kind of stuff? I mean, have you done any of your own research or like rabbit hole YouTube looking in shit kind of stuff, or? He smiled. Motherfucker, you smile, bro.
I like this. So me personally, because I read up, it was around World War II. There's a pilot that obviously, I don't know if you guys probably heard of it. He went into that whole. There was hieroglyphics from all different
Admiral
cultures. Bird. I believe so, and he went into the hole, and there was a wall filled with green hieroglyphs, but it was from like all these other cultures. So I think like. Possibly like there were other beings that maybe came down, but they all like merged into there to like,
Well, that's the Anunnaki, right? I mean,
Anunnaki. That's another tough. That's
well, but one. Those from heaven to earth came. I mean, that's what the name resembles.
Because to me, it's like Anunnaki is like the 7 fallen angels or whatever. I think there were 7, correct?
Yeah, there's like Enki, Anil,
the Watchers.
Well, but dude,
that's kind of that's the Enoch stuff. I mean,
but there's so many different names. See, and this is like going back to like we were joking about. Well, like how I was joking about Italian or French or it's like this different kind of version of Latin. But that's when you get into ancient languages that we obviously weren't fucking around to at that time to actually understand them. We're interpreting them. Like it's literally us attempting to decipher or understand when we don't, when you don't have the alphabet or, a key or, the information to understand it, you're going to take things and put it into your own personal context, which is of today. So we're thinking of like energy sources the way we do and, what tools are the way we do. So when we put that bias on all of that other shit, like, dude, we're interpreting those words or those hieroglyphs and those characters. We're doing it wrong. Not to say that we don't get most of it right, but I guarantee you there's certain things where they'll misinterpret it almost for the sense of being able to like persuade or modify or kind of push their own narrative. But it's like, dude, there's so many different words that. This is why I love, what's his name? He did the Chariots of Gods or whatever. JD, what's that fucking guy? The dude with the accent, where he basically took the Bible and modified some of the words they were using. And
Erich von Daniken.
Yeah, thank you. That guy. Yeah. So Erich von Daniken does Chariots of Gods, where he basically takes as translations. It's like, hey, this is what we've been told, but he's like, dude, if we just change a few words, nothing crazy. I think it's like 7 or 10 words.
That's all that ancient alien stuff, right?
Well, but this is the thing that I love the most about him was when he modified the idea of like these 7 or 10 words, you start to see a different understanding of the text. He took this information to freaking scientists and engineers at NASA, and they actually developed new technologies from a different understanding of how the Bible was written. So by changing 7 to 10 words, all of a sudden they're just like, holy shit. And they designed a bunch of stuff that they've actually been using. You know what I mean? I'm just saying there's weird. To me, that's a little.
I mean, even to touch on that, in the Bible, in certain sections, I believe it was Ezekiel or something, I'll have to check, but there's the section where the UFO comes down, like this circular.
It's a wheel within a wheel.
Creature comes down, and he has to build a temple to encase and house said craft, and he has to like measure it and everything. And then there's the wheels, which is another thing that NASA took the measurements of everything and reconstructed it and designed it exactly to the specifications in the Bible. And it's technology that does not exist.
It was like that thing in Contact.
I watched something. I was at my job, and okay, we're taking our break. I work for a city, so we're taking a break.
Bro, I get you. Oh my god, that was fucking hilarious.
Your 15-minute break.
We have this guy who always throws on the Discovery Channel, and I was reading this thing how they were talking about like technology, how it's still like that no one's ever been 100% sure about it. How like if you look at like ancient times, there was nothing, and then from like a certain like span, it just grew like rapidly.
Oh, just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, in steps.
I think that goes with the theory that things have been hidden from us, or we forgot about things, and then certain people are tapping into that awareness to a point where they can shift things in the right direction.
Maybe as many as 7 cataclysms, or six cataclysms, I think, or 6 floods, whatever it was.
Documented, they believe, so far.
It depends on who you listen to, but I mean, the idea that an ancient flood took place is not a new idea to any spiritual religion, anywhere.
Right. It's actually in a lot of religions, like all over the world, about the flood and all that stuff. So,
well, yeah,
and also in every like religion, there was like some type of flood. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the fact that we have a relatively similar, and not so much like construction style, but the way all of the different pyramids across the entire planet that we've been discovering have a similar shape or effect or idea.
Most of them are step pyramids in comparison, but.
Well,
there's
right,
still pyramids that the shape that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, if you look on it, if you're looking on it as like a mathematical or measurement based system, they have basically symmetry. Like there's a very congruent idea that they all are very similar.
Oh, they're all built to different scales, but the same
measurements and whatnot.
Measurements,
as well as do you guys know what ley lines are? Have you ever heard that term before? A ley line. So ley lines are basically what you would consider almost like, I guess, a magnetic line, like longitude and latitude.
Geomagnetic.
Yeah, how we go this way and that way. A ley line could intercept or be any of that, but it's just a line that runs around the Earth, and there's multiples of them, and they all kind of like interconnect.
So was it the 33rd parallel?
That's the common one.
That was the common one.
The 33rd parallel.
That all the major like spiritual buildings, edifices, whatever, have been built along that same.
But they're also
parallel.
On water as well, or over water.
Well, yeah,
like there's either like the pyramids and Tesla, they have water running under them, or channels next to them, or whatnot.
It's always at an axis point, though. It's always at an axis point, and that's what's awesome. It's like crazy. Like you can look at like, I mean, the big one is like is the Giza plateau, like that whole series of pyramids, which basically mirrors, I think, Orion's belt or whatever you want to call it.
Well, but dude, here's the kicker is like, so the pyramids don't even, mirror what they see in the sky. But if you start to actually draw all the different intersecting lines from like these corners to this corners, and you basically see the different shapes where all 3 of those pyramids are lined up with each other. It puts out all of these different angles and components where the measurements themselves, I mean, like, dude, think about this.
I'm not even letting these guys talk. I just realized.
Yeah, they what? Shut up.
We're listening, man. I got the knowledge.
Yeah, I got a question for y'all. Actually.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Okay, so since we're speaking about this, since I come from Azores, Portugal, Atlantis, because there's a lot of theories and stories about Atlantis being the Azores, where the Azores right now is like the peaks of where they were, but they sunk, you know?
You got that off of Aquaman, didn't you?
No, I actually didn't. No,
We always talk about Atlantis.
It's like
and we discuss where it can be.
Yeah, me coming from there, I think it was either Homer or Plato, one of them. He wrote it and it like describes those.
Yes. But where Plato has it, it was so his like great like someone 400 years before him, or it happened 400 years before he wrote about it. Yeah. And
I thought it was like 900 years.
His great grandfather, his great grandfather, someone told him the account and he wrote it down from what he remembered. But some of those things were found. So like the metal rods and stuff like that, those were actually found. And it contains metal that's not of anything known.
Yeah.
So that's intriguing as well.
That's wild, dude.
So wait, what was your question though? I thought did he say you have a question?
There was a question.
Yeah, what was the question?
Yeah, like what's your whole idea about it? Like, was it real, and where do you think it originates? Because like I know, like when I meet like a European, like for instance, there was a guy from Denmark. He was at our show not too long ago, and he's like, "Oh, you're from Atlantis," because a lot of people say that because they describe Azores as the the new Atlantis.
Like the old Atlantis, basically. That's where Atlantis was.
That's where a lot of Europeans think it is. So, like, from your guys' understanding, your knowledge, where do you think it is, you know?
Dude, I'll tell you what, I heard a
couple different things on that.
I heard a really interesting hypothesis that I love, and it's more from like a spiritual component. I might have been Robert Grant. He talks about, and I may be not quoting him correctly, but to paraphrase what I heard, that I was like, yo, that's a dope idea. The idea is that all of the Earth is Atlantis, and while there may have been a main city that was what was described as air quotes Atlantis, the most main of them, like, so it's just like, oh, it's like in actuality
that was
like
the epicenter.
Well, yeah, that would have been like the major city of Atlantis, which was all of Earth basically.
Well, historically, if you look, like the Atlanteans were trying to improve and create societies across the globe.
But if you listen to the stories, they were doing so until they got to a certain point when they just became basically like overly greedy and just started fucking off spiritually. And that's when the floods happened.
You think that's what it was?
But if you follow
I thought it was to kill off the Nephilim. I wasn't sure.
What the hell is, I don't even know what that
you don't
means.
know the Nephilim? Oh.
I know what the word.
Know about the Nephilim.
I don't.
Children of the angels, right?
See, he knows.
Well, he's from Portugal, bro.
Yeah, I know this shit, man.
I watch a lot of like DC and Marvel.
It has nothing to do with being from Portugal.
Well, but man, that kind of goes back to the point. That goes back to the point that we were talking about, where like all of the different religions, all the different writings, because it may not even be a religion, it might just be an ism, a belief system. All of them have flood stories. All of them have the same kind of.
It's science.
That's not science.
It sure it is.
Dude, it's
right now. It says that they think it's off.
It's not our science.
Found between Spain and Morocco.
I got something to say. Since whoever said it's science is really not like valid until the government say so. And if the government, since we talk about conspiracy theories, if the government don't want us to know something, they're not going to validate it. So it'll just be a conspiracy theory forever.
Well, remote viewing.
That's real. That happens.
That's why a lot of these technologies are on hold.
You could say it's bunk, but remote viewing the U.S. government has poured so much money into the study of this. So
that doesn't mean it's real.
Well,
okay, but also the U.S. government came out and said there was UFO sightings, and they didn't confirm or deny that there was aliens. They just left people like that.
That's what they're gonna do.
Well, but you know what? This is my thing about the whole like the UFO.
Hold up. How are you the U.S. government, the most powerful military in the world, and you don't know? I mean, come on now.
Right.
No, I think it's being propagated. I think if it is to come to light in the media, it's going to be propagated.
Well, see, that's
by the U.S. government.
This is what I think about all this stuff.
I truly believe that we have reverse engineered some alien craft.
I don't think we reversed engineer. I think we got the information. They're just like, here's the blueprints. But yeah, no, I think, and this is my opinion, I'll say my opinion, I feel as though anything that the government is willing to admit to, one is either because they've been completely backed into a corner, they're like, fuck, we gotta say something about it. Or two, they did that shit. So all these UFO sightings that we're having and stuff, they're like, oh my God, look at it. It's just like, yeah, that's us. Because from what I'm to understand with like different research that I've done is there's a few different individuals, America, Russia, and I think now at this point, the Chinese all have their own remanufactured like alien UFO vehicle things. That's why I'm like, I don't think they reverse engineered. I think they were just like, here's the blueprint.
At least as far as Hitler, actually.
Well, that's the belief. Yeah, with the bell and all that shit.
That he was really trying to create some kind of trans-dimensional vehicle.
Anti-gravity, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't just, hey, look, it can hover up. That's the least of its ability.
Yeah, that's takeoff.
I mean, it could literally create a vortex and just disappear.
Bloop. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Because I'm into the alien shit, bro. And, like, most alien stories I've heard, people say that a UFO is usually obviously something that hovers, but it's like usually like very like bright. You can't even see what it is. It just like it looks kind of just a light hovering. You know what I mean?
See, this is why I like the idea. Like I went back to how the pyramids, the way it lines up is a energy maker. But then also, if you take that same idea and you assimilate to like our chakras, we ourselves are energy makers. And on a scientific level, all we talk about is the fact that we are light, and it's different fractals of light. So it's the way things are shaped, or what we say with molecules coming together to form either a rock or a piece of iron or our body and stuff. Dude, all of that stuff gets an assembly of some sort, and it's like I find it's kind of funny that you're talking about having UFOs or these vehicles and they're just immensely bright. It's like, well, bro, if all you are is light and energy, wouldn't we on this earth, like on this plane, see that shit as just like, wow, that's a really fucking bright dot right there. What the hell is that shit?
Well, light is just a perception of frequency. So who's to say?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we're not even.
It just shows up as bright because it's on such a far end of our visual acuity that's how we perceive it. That it's not
like almost like being broken into in the Matrix.
It's not actually as if it's here or there. It's like somewhere in between as it's passing through the veil. I mean, basically,
I just had an idea.
Because if you think about it, if you think that everything in existence is created from light. And this is the way I think. I'm sorry. If everything is created from light and it's all just a vibrational, everything's working in unison with different vibrational frequencies. That's what creates physical matter that we see around us. But it's all existing in the same time space. I mean, in the size of a grain of sand. If you think about it that way, that there is no disconnection between any one molecule and another, even if they're like galaxies away.
Entanglement theory.
The Egyptians, they kind of had like, I know back in, I don't know if is it Bach or Bas? They had like a interpretation where you could leave your physical body into
the air quotes, man. Some people just listen to us. If you do air quotes, you got to say air quotes, man.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, but go ahead.
They had where they would leave their physical body into their spiritual realm, but they'd still be living where they could like see over all, they could go into certain realms or anything like that. So like that could go into the light that you're talking about in a sense. I know they were really heavy into that.
Dude, and that kind of like the idea of that, like what popped in my brain was Inception, where you could be like in a dream within a dream within a dream. And it's like, well, which one is actually a dream or what we would deem as reality or exactly.
What is real?
Let's means I can touch it. This is real.
Like, what do you consider real? Because everything that you experience as a human being is a bunch of chemical electro reactions happening within a small mass of gray matter about 3 pounds, right?
And if you could say, if I can touch it, it's real, what about schizophrenic people? Or people that have mental disorders?
Well, what is schizophrenic?
No, bro, I agree with you.
Multiple personality. Schizophrenic is schism, like from reality, whatever.
Well, yeah, correct. Well, so that's the thing is, real? So the DSM, which is
they believe that shit though. That's the thing.
Well, so that's the thing is, one, as you were saying about perception. Yeah, perception or what you see or perceive makes it real. But so psychology or science says through the DSM that, schizophrenics are basically wired wrong. They're chemical imbalance. And there's so it's like, oh, you need. Well, but they can explain it down to the physical body. Whereas me personally, I think of like schizophrenic or all these different kind of things where it's just like, oh, they're, oh my God. It's like, no, what if they're just wired different? What if they're on that frequency where they're kind of like in between two different worlds?
Maybe these are people that are experiencing things the way they really are, or closer to the way they really are. Like, I think I've said that before about like autistic people. Like if maybe what their perception is more accurate, and no wonder they're so damaged by their surroundings.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I would think about it like in every day-to-day experience that you can have. There's so much negative energy out there.
Well, see, to me, I would
not to focus on that, but I'm just saying,
and sensory overload.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking more like Neo in the Matrix when he can actually see the fucking the Matrix.
And how would that affect you?
What's crazy about like people with like autism and stuff like that, they're actually super smart.
Oh yeah.
Like they have certain things like, so
focus.
The place at the city here in like my area, they have we have a recycling center where all these kids with autism, they go and work.
Nice.
And I've gone over there a few times, and like one of them can cook really good. The other one's like really good with patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And then like one of them can tell you about any person that's ever played sports. Like if you wanted to know like who the first quarterback ever was, like that was like really like top dog,
super hyper focused. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it kind of like, if you think about a baby, they say they can like sense negative energies. They can see different things that we can't.
But so can dogs, and because it's called theta wave.
Yeah, theta, bro. Yeah,
your brain's operating on a theta wave, which is a completely different frequency.
It's a meditation. Yeah.
Yeah, and my theory, since you talk about frequencies, my theory is there's different dimensions, and like kids, dogs, cats, like animals in general can see stuff that we can't see. They can see other dimensions.
Agreed.
I believe in this. Humans have this kind of like cover on their eyes where they can't see other dimensions. They can only see theirs.
It's called a veil.
But animals and babies
most people
don't
have
develop
several
that until later.
Right.
Agreed.
Well, no, people can put veils on you.
Let's get personal. So Hybrid, he got a son. And so the crib that his parents live at, apparently there was an accident a while ago that happened in the crib, right? And in the exact room. And his kid, like the last couple of days, would sleep in that room, but like he would cry all night.
Yeah. He wouldn't be able to sleep.
He usually sleeps like a baby because he is a baby.
And then we put him in another room and he slept perfectly fine, like everything that. But also could be like this a little personal. So when I was born, my since I was from the island, my family's pretty known. So like a lot of pure blood is like very strict. But my mom married outside the family, so this lady cursed me and my family.
Wow.
So we had to get an exorcism when I was born. But when I was younger, I used to be able, I don't want to say like sense, but like in a way like death or anything. Cause like one time when I was really young, all I was tasting or smelling was like a rotten flesh, you know? So then I asked my mom if my grandma or my grandpa was okay. And we didn't know because they can only call on Sundays. That was before Facebook. They could access it, you know? Facebook call.
People don't remember that shit, bro.
Yeah. We called and my grandpa actually died the day I was sensing all that stuff, you know?
Oh, wow.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like stuff. I feel like eventually once you get older, you like kind of evolve into a place where you can't like sense that stuff anymore, you know? So
your subconscious
will
actually like protect
like
you from stuff, but when you're children, animals,
you're trained out a certain behavior at a really young age. I mean, you don't talk about those things. Like you just know.
Exactly.
Like because you bring them up.
You hear like mothers, fathers all the time saying that like their little kids would say something like super creepy about how like they can see somebody in their room or something like that. That stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're more open.
It can't just be imaginary. Like, not all these kids are just imagining stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay. You want to hear my weird idea? It has to do with frequencies.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever watched Skinwalker Ranch?
Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Well, just to give you a quick synopsis, it's an area that a lot of strange things happen. It deals with like Indian or Native American.
But so the thing that I'll give you the
curses.
I'll give you the quick backstory. It was the Hopi and the Cherokee, and I can't remember which way it was. I think the Cherokee was basically enslaving the Hopi. So then the Hopi cursed the land, and anything and everything that would come through there was going to be this horrid thing, as they call a skinwalker. So the land itself is cursed.
But then there's also things happening like in the mountains, in the skylines, just like there's cows were completely mutilated, drained of blood. Like there's really strange things happening there that like don't happen anywhere else.
Which so I think is the government. Sorry, go ahead. I'll go into that shit. Go ahead.
There was one episode where they were in the helicopter and they had some object was below them. And it was showing up on the radar, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't. So
on the route.
This is my little like aha. Okay. So when you were talking about frequencies, and we were talking about how like certain things manifest in certain ways, and then my mind went to like chakras and the frequencies of chakras and like the earth and stuff like that. So we're essentially we're like light or that is manifested through sound to create whatever being we're manifested into. So what if the frequencies create the different forms? So like a different frequency would make you more transparent versus opaque.
Right.
So that's like the Skinwalker Ranch. That's why because with the UFOs, it always says that there's like a humming noise and it spins. So it's moving in some type of frequency and it's being elevated by a vibration and a frequency.
It's also a circle within a circle, by the way.
If it can elevate its frequency or do it, it can become transparent or not. Show up on readers or not.
And maybe it's a frequency that we can't read, like our human brain cannot like.
Right. But if you think about what is it?
Doesn't mean it's not there.
Matthias
what is there?
De Stefano. Remember when he said the story about when they were the blue creatures, they couldn't come to Earth because it was such a low frequency or such a different frequency from what they were that it would like deteriorate them or whatever it did to them.
They're in what we would consider a spirit form.
Right. And the Earth has such a low frequency. In form, you have a low frequency, but in your crown chakra, it's a higher frequency, and the crown chakra resembles like the space above the light.
Yeah,
so the higher the frequency.
You'll probably, if you can, look this up for me. I think, isn't there a mathematical relation of the root chakra to the crown chakra? Like, I think it's an exact number of multiplication, like 10,000 times or something like that, or. You might have to look this up. Yeah, I think there's a mathematical relation where it's an exact ratio.
Root
because during awakening,
300, and your third eye is 900. So that's
no. There's that too. But no, I mean, like with his Gemini has chakra tuning forks, and they all resonate. So it's like the different frequencies. Yeah, I mean the crown goes up to like fucking.
I forget what it is.
Yeah,
I should really know this.
I have them.
Well, so all right, so
I was going through all my notes because I have all this written down in like a notebook in front of me.
Of course you do, fucking nerd. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah. I didn't it's my yoga stuff.
But go ahead, bro. What's up?
When you said blue people, have you heard the theory that like technically we'd be blue, but like is it something with carbon dioxide, like why babies come out blue, but then they adapt to the oxygen in the air,
Doesn't it have to do with the blood? Because technically your blood is like blue or purple before it gets oxygenated.
That's not actually.
I'm not going to pronounce that again.
Blue is when it is oxygenated.
It's darker when it's filled with oxygen, but it's not blue.
Yeah.
Well, our eyes perceive it as blue.
But babies do definitely come out blue usually.
like purple.
and then adjust.
Well, when you have a lack of oxygen, you turn blue.
Mm-hmm. So do you think there is maybe a higher being that, like, let's say we were born on a different planet of a different, like,
Atlanteans. That's what the blue people were.
Oh.
Well, actually, if you go back in Indian,
Yeah, Vishnu and stuff.
yeah, like I mean, all the gods were blue.
No, that makes perfect sense because
Some of them are blue, yeah.
like waves, like sound waves and frequencies in general, bounce off water. So if there was Atlantis, like the frequencies down there are super low, like super low. So they probably get up here, they probably won't be able to survive.
Is that what we think, though, or what we know?
I mean, one of the theories is the Bermuda
That's what-
Triangle.
I mean, that's a scientific
Matthias
fact.
said.
I know that for a fact.
Well,
that
but yeah, so
sound waves and frequencies in general bounce off water.
But here's the thing, though, is this is why I love the idea behind a belief system is, so faith says, I don't give a shit about science or reoccurring evidence or any of that shit. I just think this is what it is. Science says, hey, if you take these, components and do it in this fashion, you're going to get this outcome. That's like saying, hey, if you take these ingredients and put them this way, you're going to make fucking cookies. Yeah, no shit, it's going to make cookies. That doesn't mean it's actual, doesn't mean it's fact, doesn't mean it's true or real, but that goes back to like we started out with, perception makes it real.
What fascinates me is that the bleeding edge of where science is.
Why are you going to say bleeding?
I don't know. The bleeding edge. The bleeding edge of where science
We're
is.
just talking about blood.
Is in the same area of all these questions we have about life. It's in that same context that we're speaking. Because it's all experimental. Like we have no idea if any of this is even going to work. We're just throwing this out there.
But see, that's why I also love the philosophical statement of, I know that I know nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, on that, I have to make two corrections during this conversation.
Well, I'm sorry, but first of all, I think that's the honest or most impeccable statement anybody could ever make in this world is, I know that I know nothing. It's like, bro, what is knowing? It's just perception. It's my belief. So it's like, I have to say my belief is, now it makes it an impeccable statement. Go ahead, Miss JD.
Okay, correction number one. Plato wrote that 9,000 years after
I said 9,000, bro.
It happened.
Yeah.
And it was through stories of poets, artists, and whatever is how he got the story of Atlantis. It was 9,000 years.
Oh, yeah, they want to chime. Go ahead.
We got some activity.
The other thing was the book that I was talking about, and I said Ezekiel, it was the book of Enoch, it's actually taken out of the Bible, but that's where it talks about the spacecraft and where he's the only one. This part is still left in the Bible, but he's the only one that got ascended and didn't die first. He's the only one that was taken into the sky without dying.
But there was something about Ezekiel as well. There was a UFO depiction, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, but
in Ezekiel. Yeah, but we have something going on.
Yeah, gentlemen, go ahead. You guys were up in arms. Go ahead. Say it.
I totally forgot. I got
that will happen here. That will happen here. That's why my shirt says I've already tangented. If you could see if you can see the back, which you can, it says I can't tangent any further, but
whoever said that,
I got it.
What I know is I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he said that 900 years ago, whatever that was, 1,000 years ago, and he definitely didn't know as much as we know now. Like humans are much smarter now. I would hope so.
I think the difference because to me, everything can be manipulated. Like to me, like there could be that 1%. Realistically, if we wanted to think, there could be a 1% of the world. And they have their own government that manipulate each and every country to do so and so,
I mean, do you think human intelligence is linear?
I think it's exponential.
There's also more smoke and mirrors now than there were then.
So I want to go back to a statement that I was going to make earlier where we started talking about Skinwalker a few minutes ago. And I was just like, that's government shit. The fact that at Skinwalker Ranch is the only place where we have cattle mutilation done in a fashion where we're just like, oh, well, we can't do that today. That's obviously not our technology. The fuck it's not. The fact that you can, either just drop off a cow done in this fashion or do this to a cow, to me really kind of goes to the idea that we have an ability to either cloak or move within dimensions, or, you know, basically disrupt space and time, anti-gravitational or 0-point energy. The fact that they understand and how to do that, it's like, all right, cool. So now they're just like, oh, look, no, it's obviously not us. No, you just totally did that shit. There's the fact that you could like slip in and out of it.
You're talking about the 0-point energy with
I'm talking about conspiracy. Dude, the government lies.
The two
redacted.
Yes, they do. That's what we're talking about.
The two opposed revolving discs. One had mercury in it or something like that, and that was how they.
In my opinion, though, I think there's like I said, the 1% of the world that nobody actually knows about. They just manipulate and
chess move shit, bro.
Exactly. Really, for real.
Well,
no, hold on.
Whether you want to call it Illuminati?
No, hold on. So here's the deal, dude. I've done some serious research as far as like the big boy shit, corporate kind of stuff, right? The one thing I learned about the big boys, the guys that are like, as we said, that 1%, anytime they make a move financially, they're covered on both sides. So whether they win or they lose, they're still going to win. That's chess move shit, bro. That's manipulation hard as fuck, though. That's like, that's why I'm like,
you know, all the companies they're doing business with.
But dude, that's how that shit fucking works, man.
House always wins.
Say that again.
House always wins,
right, bro? But dude, there's
even
a truth
when we
to
don't
that.
win, we win.
Well, because that's the thing is, so like, while you know, science to me is
Don't make you believe that you might win, but eventually we gonna win.
You're right. But that's why I like the idea that an ism or a belief system is this, that, and the other. And it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. The fact that this world operates on what we can say is a relative, you know, idea or construct. These are givens. This is science. This is fact. It's like there's a predictability. There's a difference between science and fact and predictability. Just because you say, hey, 9 times out of 10, this is what's going to happen, doesn't mean that that's a truth or a fact. It just means in this world of the way things work, 9 times out of 10, that's just going to happen. Well, if you understand those principles, you can work within that. You know, that's where you like.
And historically speaking, a lot of scientific facts have been proven wrong throughout the time. So I would
over and over again.
Some type of scientific fact will be proven wrong anytime soon. Maybe all of them. You never know.
Dude, agreed, man. But this is why I like the fringe science ideas. You know, air quotes, fringe science. You know, Graham Hancock. Do you guys know who Graham Hancock is? So Graham Hancock is one of these individuals that basically has found, by going to the pyramids and whatever else. And, you know, like you were saying earlier with like Plato giving his, you know, statement of this, that, and the other, and they have the story down in Egypt and it's 9,000 years. He kind of pointed to the idea before science was willing to admit to the last known flood that we had was approximately 11,600 years ago, or, you know, air quotes, 12,000 years ago. When you look at Plato's account and then you corroborate it or, you know, compare that to the information that they got from Egypt, when he like compares it, and he's like, holy crap, he's saying 9,000. Here we are in 2,000. Well, that's 11. So when you start adding all that stuff up, you know, Graham Hancock was this individual that was like, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, but all of the stories kind of point to this. And then all of a sudden science is like, holy shit, no, he's kind of right. So, I mean, that's a true point. I mean, same thing with like what Galileo and all that kind of stuff, you know, when you go against, because I mean, flat earth used to be some shit. And now all of a sudden we're like, bro, that was so many millennia ago. We're round. Come on. But then, you know, now we're not even round.
No, it's coming back.
That's not
I got a question.
The filament conversation has been coming back.
Yeah, there's a lot of people still think the world.
I got a question for y'all. Since we're talking about conspiracy theories,
fuck yeah.
Did Americans actually get on the moon?
So I'm gonna say my opinion.
That could have easily got photoshopped. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So my opinion is, did we go to the moon in '69 and like all the video and all that stuff that we have? Yeah, we fucking did that. But here's the deal: they're not showing you all the other shit we did.
In the moon, though.
Let him explain real quick. Hold on.
So that's
you go ahead.
So that's the thing. So whether the footage they gave us is legit or not, the simple fact is, my understanding is we probably went to the moon before that and after that, and we still doing that.
We definitely went after that.
But we don't. But we, the general populace society, they don't give us that information. they sit here and basically feed us on this. It is and it isn't. So it gets us caught in between, which is the dichotomy of man. When you're given two choices and you have the ability to choose, you're gonna get a separation. That's why I love the idea of the Matrix. They say the Matrix, I think was like the second or third one in the movie, where the engineer, the guy who basically built all that shit, was just like, we came to a conclusion when we gave you all choice. That's when we can control you, because it doesn't matter what you choose. You're choosing one of our systems, but we gave you choice. So I think us on a psychological level, conspiracy theories, the government or black ops or whatever you want to call it, fucking with us. The simple fact that if you give us choice, it keeps us busy not looking for the real information. So yeah, dude, did we go to the moon? Yeah, we did. We're still fucking there. We got, bases and shit, and there's stuff out in the space. Yeah, they lying, bro.
What's going on the dark side of the moon?
Exactly. That's all I was trying to say the whole time.
It's crazy how you say like the choices, because I went to school for education, and one thing they teach us is that like if you want your kids to cooperate, give them choices, but under your like what you give them, like give them choices under your choices, so they feel like they're still making a decision.
Hobson's choice, is that what that's called?
Or Hopkins?
I think it's Hobson's choice.
Right?
JD.
You choose between one and the other, but both things are siding with me. Like that's. Well,
because from the psychological level is you're given choice, which means you're just like, oh, I chose this. So
Hobson's choice is like bad or worse.
Well, but it doesn't matter. The simple fact is you have choice. And just like you were saying, it's like, yeah, man, I mean, psychology's even at a point where they're really getting a lot of papers behind this, where it's like, hey, it doesn't matter what you're giving them to choose from. The simple fact that you're like, hey, you get to choose. They own that. There's a great deal of accountability from us as humans, where it's just like, oh, I mean, I chose this. I have to make it work. I got to figure this out. And it's like, no, you don't. Just because you were told to make a choice doesn't mean that's one of the choices. You could have chose some other shit.
Exactly.
It's called a Hobson.
Yeah, Hobson.
That's why the only thing you can do is do what you love, which is what we're doing right now.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
But love, man, and shit. Other shit.
Because the thing is,
not gonna find the answer.
if you fail at doing something you love, then at least you were doing something you love. But if you fail at doing something you hated, right? Like,
and it fucking sucks at the end, because you never did anything you loved. Like,
right. I mean, that's the way I got to look at it.
Yeah, man, for real.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, so let me ask you this, because, hey, we've been doing all this great, conversations, this and the other. What got you all into music, man?
Right.
I know we're sitting here talking to musicians and we're going off on some conspiracy.
that's what we do.
Like, for real, like, what got you guys into music? Yeah.
Me personally, like, I ain't gonna lie, I started, like, freestyling when I was, like, in middle school back home, like, in Morocco. And, like, I literally, like, get out of class, like, we'll just meet up with the homies outside of school, and, like, I'll just start, like, freestyling and stuff.
In Moroccan, right?
Yeah, and it's called Darija.
Dude, but that's dope though, man. Cause see, I love how, America, we have, air quotes, hip hop or rapping, and yet all these other cultures have taken that idea of what that is, but they've done it in their own language, and you still get like a flow out of it. Like, that shit is hot, bro.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'll definitely give the credit to America for like starting rap, but they definitely blew it the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, it was everywhere in the world. Like, I grew up on rap. I know Snoop Dogg. I know Ice Cube. And I grew up in Africa. You know what I mean? So, like, I know, like, I'm obviously more immersed in the culture more than most people. But I definitely, like, grew up on that shit. I grew up on... That's how I learned English, bro. I literally sit down, play Lil Wayne songs, and play, like, the lyrics video of it, and literally just, like, watch it and, like, try to learn. And then literally go to Google Translation if I don't understand a word.
That's crazy.
And then I was like, oh shit, I know how to speak English. Fuck it. And then I got that opportunity to come to New York, and I was like, all right, shit, I speak English. I'm nice with it.
That's
and then I pull up, and people start talking to me, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you saying right now, bro. You talking?
That's crazy. So I like, he was like, back in the day, was like a really good like best friend. We're still like close, just not as close as we used to be. His mom. So she is technically, no, not American. She's obviously not American. She's from Mexico. She could not speak English. Now all her kids could, because they went to school and they,
in U.S. Yeah.
how she learned, it was not from the kids because they couldn't really at a young age they couldn't really teach her. But we all listen to hip hop. She actually learned how to sing the motto by Drake and Lil Wayne before she learned to speak English. That's how she was doing it.
Because I was probably the same way. Like I would actually probably can recite you a whole song. I don't know what he's saying, but I recite it, right? You know what I mean?
It's for the children.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
It's for the children.
Yeah. It is.
To me, it's like sound, because when I first moved here, I learned English off Michael Jackson because my stepdad at the time, that's all he listened to. So I was like reciting that, and like eventually I learned English because I had to like kind of step up because I was going to school for like in America, you know?
Yo, bro, for real, like when my family moved to Spain before I was born and stuff, my mom learned how to speak Spanish by watching Sesame Street all in Spanish.
My mom learned English off Sesame Street. That's crazy,
right?
Because she was.
But there's a point behind that, man. Kids. Yeah, the way they do it, it's entertaining, it's catchy. They bring color and they break it down to as simple as possible for kids.
There is nothing else like Sesame Street.
Dude, Sesame Street's so fucking dope. Well, I mean, the Muppets is pretty hot too, bro. I mean, let's be honest.
No, but I mean, education-wise.
I mean, we still talking like young kids. Motherfuckers doing this shit.
I want y'all to think about this. Think about like how a Moroccan kid was listening to Lil Wayne learning English while Lil Wayne is saying pussy juicy and shit like that.
I love that.
Pussy
juicy. Think about that.
This is pussy juice.
I wanted to ask you too before we even finished doing the green room. I wanted to ask you. I was thinking to myself. I was like, there's got to be a lot of musical influence even at age 15 before you left Morocco. That like does that go into like the style that you sing and all the because
of course
there's a rich history to Morocco.
I'm the product of everything I've lived, everything I listened to, everybody I encountered, you know what I mean? So till I was 15, I was 100% Moroccan, but then I pulled up to New York. I was like, oh shit, there's not only America in here, but there's literally every fucking culture in here. So I can learn everything here.
Right, but you're there now. You're a New Yorker. I mean, that's all you have to do is be there.
I mean, yeah, you got a thick ass New York accent, bro. I'll be for real.
You got to work it out, you know?
I mean, there's everything right with that. I'm not like, discredit.
It's kind of taking over my Moroccan accent, so.
Yo, bro, but so being born in Spain and raised in Cali, like, I always had, like, a real heavy, like, barrio kind of sound to me.
When he drinks tequila, it starts coming out, like, automatically. It's kind of funny.
Dude, yeah, I'm like all borracho. I'm just like, hey, ¿sabes qué, man? If you don't know me. Oh, it's fucking hilarious. Excuse me,
like, half my family lives either in France or, like, Spain, bro. Because, like, I don't know if you know this, but Moroccans are basically, like, the minority in Europe. They're like the Mexicans of Europe, basically. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro, I've done my research, man. I know about the Moors in Spain and Morocco and, the balance. Yeah, man. But, because I went back to that earlier when you were asking about, like, have you guys looked into what's your understanding of, like, we do crazy deep research, like, and this is just what we do, period. Well, because this is the thing that we say about him and I is like, yeah, we might be in our 40s, but we're still 13-year-old kids, just like, what if? Oh my God!
So like, as long as you're curious, you'll learn.
So you did your research on the Moors, and everybody said, since you're from Spain, what do you know about the Gypsies and all that? Because I know, like, it's like sometimes it can be uneasy because, like, I know in Portugal you stay away from them. Like in Spain, you stay away from them.
Well,
like cops stay away from them.
Right,
there's like unknown knowledge about them too.
So to me,
like mafioso stuff. Right now.
So to me, the way I was raised, so my understanding that was presented to me, but then also when I go back to Spain and what I actually see. Yeah, mafioso seems to be that kind of a thing where, like, there's a certain level of just like don't fuck with us kind of shit that it's just like I don't feel like messing with
them right now.
They don't want to get close to that. Yeah.
They are good people. It's like
for real though.
They might respect you, but you can't cross that line. Like.
Well, but see, and that's my like personal philosophy, period. It's like, dude, that's why I always say at the end of our show, it's like, be good to yourself and be good to everything else. Cause it used to be everybody. And it's like, no, that's not enough.
Everything else.
Dude, it's gotta be everything else. The plants, the animals. Dude, so that's why I'm like, dude, as long as you're respecting yourself, like if you're honestly loving yourself, anytime you interact with anybody, you're probably going to come from love. You know what I mean? There's only good behind that. So that's my style. But yeah, I fuck with some gypsies though, man.
I'm with it.
I fuck with some gypsies.
As long as you don't practice black magic, I'm with it.
Spell on you, man.
Yeah, I think they're like one of the most interesting groups I've ever like researched or anything. But like, I think I want to know more, but you can't. There's some things you can't like know. And
that's the same with the Amish or fucking skull and crossbones.
It's interesting when you start delving into the spiritual life of a people that you don't understand. It's like you may find more similarities than you might have expected.
You will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you know, you could draw all this back to a point where it's pre-Christian, it's pre-Muslim, it's pre-this, it's pre-that. It's a matter of knowing the way the energies move around us. It's the matter of knowing how to communicate with each other. It's the electric energy that surrounds us and understanding it. That's all you got to know.
Earth was here before Muslims and Christians, man.
And we changed.
Obviously, something that's
right. We changed the names we call it. We changed the names, the divine names that we call it. Whatever. It's all the same stuff to me.
Well, I mean, that goes back to how we were talking about. It doesn't matter what the religion is or whatever else. They all talk about the same flood stories. They give you all the same, like, you know, this, that, and the other. It's just like, oh, it teaches you not to steal, how to be a good person. Like, all of them. This is why I love Wu-Tang, man. Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but unfortunately, I think this is the spot where we got to kind of wrap it up, man, because you know it's
wrap it up, B.
Well, yo, this is the thing with us is every time where it's just like, yo, it's time to go. Unfortunately,
we never have any issues with having people back on though. So.
Oh, dude,
for real, you know,
bro, that was so. What he just said was, "Can we go on a second date?" But he was being like all like nonchalant about that shit.
Oh, that was so cute.
Right? I love you guys. Can we just like, oh my god, yeah, no.
We love you too, man. We love you.
Yeah, but yo, if
you let you talk next time, but yeah, for real.
Oh, yo, dude, but if you guys, if you want to go ahead and pull out your list of all of the shit that you guys are on between your merch and everything else, shameless plug the shit out of yourself. Yeah, Ethan, that's you. I'm sorry.
Do your thing. Yeah, clear.
So we're the 308. So you can find us on basically all platforms. So Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, even
name it.
Even SoundCloud. Sadly. No disrespect to SoundCloud.
Well, we're also on MySpace. I'm sorry, it's just people are there.
Yeah. You can find us on Instagram by our tag is officially _308, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like Facebook, you can just find us at the 308, and then YouTube and everything else is just the 308.
Yes, sir. We got a website coming on the way for the merch. We're gonna get that going so people can order off the online, get their stuff delivered, you know what I mean?
It'll be only the 308
fans.
His Instagram, go ahead.
Is Royal Music.
You can find me at Hybrid 2 Lit.
And you can find me at niinobenz on Instagram.
With 2 eyes.
2 eyes. NIINO-benz.
I should explain that. When you search up Royal Music, it has 2 eyes too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro. I was like, yo, fuck the 2 eyes. We got 2 eyes, man.
Yeah.
Two eyes.
You know,
we had to go a little bit different instead of keeping the lils. You know, we gotta change it up a bit.
We need extra vowels, bro.
Fuck yeah, bro. Hells yeah.
Sometimes yeah.
Oh, you gotta elongate that shit, man.
Gotta do it.
That's why I love Spanish, man. They're just like they fucking roll that shit off, man.
With the L's,
the L's, the R's.
The last single that we dropped, which is Paradise in Hell, it's a motherfucking banger. So make sure you check that out on the 308. It's on Spotify, all platforms, like you just said. It's a banger, man. We perform at every show. People love it. So yeah, make sure you check that out, man.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna hook you guys up. Yeah, we're gonna put all the links and because you guys said you got a couple of dates coming up. We'll throw that shit, and then when we pop this stuff out, if we can, we'll tie all that shit together.
Here, probably somewhere.
No, it'll be in the bottom.
We won't even see it there, man.
We want to thank you guys for letting us be a part of the show for you.
Dude, dude.
Yeah, we're just hanging out, man. Anytime.
I know. Think about this. You guys are like, oh shit, we're about to do this show, and all of a sudden, yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. You guys are like, oh, hey,
we don't make big about ourselves. Like we just hanging out, bro. Like this is what we do.
That's dope.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what we do all the time, man. Every day.
Yo, I mean,
I'd love to get more into the art form and everything next time.
I mean, yeah, you know,
we got to leave something open. So
second date. We're gonna find out more about. It's
more about how like you guys get down with your art form, like for real.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, I love the fact that coming into this, they're almost like, oh my gosh, you know, we've really never done this before. Like, you know, hey, you know, we had our issues and whatever, dude, but they figured it out. They did it. And all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, fuck the music. It's like, so what do you guys think about aliens and pyramids?
Yeah, for real. That was dope as fuck. I love that.
Yeah, man. But dude, just like you guys are saying, these are the shit. You know, that's the kind of conversation we've been doing this shit for 30 years.
But I'm saying, I want to hear them open up next time. So hopefully, you know,
bro, they said some shit. Did he black? I think he blacked out.
I didn't black out. I'm just saying.
I know y'all way older than us, but like it really don't feel like it, man. It just feel like a nice ass conversation with like some homies.
It's a high school locker room, you know.
My guys,
it was a little more PG-13, but you know, because it's a high school locker room.
Hey, I mean, you know, sometimes we do have kids that listen to us. We got to be respectful on that shit. You know what I mean?
All means, sir.
Yeah, but fam, we greatly appreciate you. The 308, you guys are dope as shit. Your music's hot. You guys are authentic, real, and you will be back. As well as, yeah, I'm gonna sneak out to Nebraska soon. We'll almost see you all guys. Yeah, we're gonna.
Let's do the show, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah.
It's great meeting you guys, though.
Yeah, but awesome. Yeah, this is I'm telling you, a Philly D,
Mr. Gemini.
Clickety clack, a fact check, a Miss JD.
That's a wrap, baby.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, fam, as always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be good to yourself. Be good to everything else.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.
That sounded like Chewbacca.